I'm observing with the APM 20mm 100-degree eyepiece. The Andromeda galaxy is visible, is near the zenith. I've covered my, it's cold night, I've covered my finder scope with the hat that I have, so it will not get fogged, condensation will not form on it. What I'm observing is the two dark lanes in the Andromeda galaxy, and to the left of it in this reflector telescope is a Dobsonian 300p Flextube Skywatcher. And what I can say is that there is also a bridge of light to the visible to the Andromeda galaxy. The core is bright, it almost dazzles the eye. I can follow also the light of the halo of the galaxy to the top part, this direction, which means in the image is downward, and for several degrees, of course. And now I'm going to observe this with the Televue Ethos 21mm and compare the notes. Okay, I'm now using the Televue Ethos 21mm eyepiece. I mentioned Delos probably, but that was wrong. It's Ethos. And my first impression is that it's parafocal with the APM 20mm. Second thing is that when I looked through the eyepiece, the field of view was a slightly wider, magnification less. So because it's 1mm longer in focal length, the sky background was less dark, the contrast was a little bit less, and the rest of the things were similar. I'm surprised. Surprise. This cost 3 times the price of the APM, and yet the view is similar. No, the APM was similar to this. I don't see much difference. I can see same details, 2 dark lanes which mark the spiral arms of the galaxy. The brightness of the core of the galaxy is same, slightly less. In the APM is almost dazzling. The core of the Andromeda galaxy was very bright, dazzling. This one is slightly less dazzling, and I can see the same 2 lines, 2 dark lanes, and the halo from the M110 to the M31 was a little bit less visible. Is there, but you have to look for it. What is impressive is that it starts from the corner to the end are sharp and clear. In the APM, in the center, I can say around 60% of the center, 65% of the view is clear around the stars. The rest of it, when you get near the corner, gets a little bit elongated. So I think that's probably is a little bit coma mixed up with the astigmatism. But this one is corrected, well corrected for that. I'm going to observe more and just report on the rest of the results. Okay, I've quickly changed to the APM 20mm, and I can see now a lot of details in the M32 galaxy. It's funny, you can see details in that. Brighter core, some lanes I can see, and the halo around the M32. What is interesting is that I must correct myself about the kind of aberration I see. 65% of the field of view is in focus, and the corner slightly starts when they are near the corner. They don't have the coma or astigmatism. They're a little bit out of focus. So what I should call it? I don't know, field curvature probably. It's a little bit, slightly, not much, out of focus. The view in this one I prefer, although the view in this one is more immersive than the Ethos 21, although it is 3 times cheaper. Let me just go remove the eye guard from the Ethos, which I added, and actually practically that made it a little bit less field of view on that. So I remove the eye guard and then come and see it with this one. Okay, now I have removed the eye guard and put the rubber eye cup back. The view is more immersive as much as the APM 20mm. the magnification is slightly less. You can see, you can notice that it's a little bit less magnified, and the contrast, that means also is a bit less. Now I can say that the same effect as I see on that, of course less in this one. The stars are a little bit tighter, but from up to 70% of the field of view is sharp. Then when you reach 70 up to the edge is a little bit less. Then near the edge, 5% near the edge, it just image gets mushy. The stars get a little bit, you know, out of focus. So this slightly the image quality in that sense better, being everything in focus for most of the field of view, slightly better than the APM 20mm, and but because of the higher magnification in the APM, the contrast is better, the visibility, the clear clarity of the view is, that's what I prefer in that one. This is also good. It's tight, everything is round, the stars are round, pinpoint, very good. And yeah, I'm surprised the bridge of light I mentioned cannot be seen in any photograph. I can see it visually. Okay, again I quickly change to the APM 20mm. I can say that the Ethos 21mm, I prefer the focal length of this one. 20mm means more contrast, but the 21mm Ethos has a neater and better image quality, I can say. The stars are tighter and cleaner. This one doesn't correct slightly coma which may exist in this telescope. I've not collimated it right away, but it was well collimated last night when I used it. And now with the Ethos, I can see that this really image is better, more comfortable. This one is more comfortable, I should say. Ethos is a little bit less comfortable because you know that if you get damaged or anything, you're just feeling guilty and worried. But it's more, you know, it's more friendly, this one, in a way, price friendly, pocket friendly, you can call it. If I want to go for a field trip and just somewhere in the field to observe, I will take this one, not the Ethos. If I lose that Ethos or break or something, that's a lot of money. This one is less money. But the comfort in this is better. The image in the Ethos is tighter, stars are tighter, and the image quality is neater and nicer. So let me go for Maxvision 24mm 82 degrees eyepiece just to compare. They have similar, almost close image scale. Okay, this is the Maxvision 82 degrees 24mm eyepiece. Is equal to the Export Scientific 24mm 82, and also meet UWA, I think 5000 or 4000, with the same focal length and the field of view. They're equal anyway, they look similar. Export Scientific has a little bit different design on this outer part of the eyepiece. The rest of it is exactly the same. The image quality of this and the field of view and the neatness and tightness of the shape of the stars is very close to the Ethos. I must say this is really good, and you can see that, like the APM, the core of the Andromeda galaxy is very bright and dazzling. You can see the rest of the details, but the core is very bright. Wow, on this one, what I can confirm is that now I can see a star cloud, one of the biggest star clouds of the Andromeda galaxy, one of the arms of it, is to the side that M32 is located, but the opposite side of the in the lower part. If that M32 is there, that star cloud is there, and the core of the galaxy is there. And then if you go down here, that will be M110. So really impressive, and the dark lanes will be here. Really impressive. I can see so much details with this. These are more visible, easier visible in this one. Let me just see if I can see that same detail in the Ethos 21. I'm back again in the Ethos 21mm. Wow, I can see not only that star cluster, a star cluster, I should say, a star cloud. Another star cloud also I can see, and I can see some spiral pattern in this side, not this side, that are two dark lanes. On this side also I can see some dark, very finer dark lanes which define the star clouds and the halo, kind of spiral shape. I don't know, I'm imagining things. I'm seeing a lot more. I know that those halo which connects the M31 to the M110 is actually very difficult to even visible in the 17 hours of integrated photograph exposure time, but visually I can see that. That's easy. Yeah, wow, this is the closest thing to that to that Expo Scientific. Let me use the Nagler Take 5 31mm, just see how it is. Definitely a halo of brightness is bridging between the M110 and M31, offset not exactly the core, a little bit above the core in this direction. If it is M110, the light goes like that, light bridge in a kind of curve. It's amazing. I can see these things. No photograph can show that as clear as this. Okay, this is the Televue Nagler 31mm Take 5. Wow, that's image quality is this one. The field of view is bigger. I can see the extreme end of the galaxy's halo, and to the I see so much detail. My brain cannot really grasp all of that. It's only you can catch it probably in the photograph, but there's so much detail, so much dark lanes all over the place in the halo even. Not just two dark lanes here, all over the place. Is it because I'm familiar with the shape of it? I'm just imagining things, or no, they're there. I can see it. And two star clouds that I mentioned are here and there. They're completely visible. Now I can see it. And the halo from the M110 to the above the core of the galaxy is really clear, visible. Wow. Wow, M31 is huge, very elongated. I never saw it like that. Thanks to my good sky, actually, I can see all of that. Okay, now I put the 40mm 68 degrees field of view Maxvision, which is equal to the Expo Scientific, and the meat of the similar specification. The image quality, the neatness and tightness of the stars is very similar to Ethos and Nagler, and but because the field of view is so huge, magnification is so low, the sky background actually increases the brightness of the sky, and you lose some detail in that. The contrast is less. Of course, you see the same details if you look for them because you know they are there, but they're not as easy as Nagler 31, which was amazing. And when you go down to the 24mm Explore Scientific, again 82 degrees, amazing, beautiful. And yeah, in the Ethos, yeah, good, but I don't think that is as good as the Nagler in my view. I will just put it now, just to come back to it, just to see how I feel. Okay, now back in the Ethos 21, I can say that on this target, which is M31, I prefer the Nagler 31 Take 5 and also Maxvision Mid Explore Scientific 24mm 82 degrees. They're more, they have less magnification than this. I cannot get the whole galaxy or the parts that are visible there. They're there. You have to just move the telescope to see them. And yeah, I prefer those ones for this target, which is a very big target anyway. It's a very expansive and large target in the sky. Angular diameter of it is really huge. Let's just go for another target. Now I'm using again the same eyepiece, Televue Ethos 21mm, looking at the double cluster Chi and Kappa Perseus, or Chi and H Perseus, yeah. And that's a double cluster. One of the double cluster parts has a series of stars which look a little bit slightly like an octopus, or you can say like the Egyptian symbol, like a tie. And I can see a lot of stars in that asterism. The rest of peripheral view, I'm not a fan of it. The stars a little bit look elongated and they don't look very tight as they should be. When you look at them, they're alright, but when you look at the center, the rest of the view is not as clear as it should be. It may be something from my eye, but that's my eye, is a human eye. I suppose many people also have the same issues with their eyes. Our eyes is a little ball of camera obscura with a lens in front of it. And so let me just change it to Nagler and Maxvision 24mm just to see how it is. Okay, this is the Maxvision 2482 degrees equal to explore scientific and meet eyepieces of the same focal length and field of view. The same problem with the peripheral elongation of this. So this is a very challenging target, this double cluster. But I can say that the numbers of the stars and the tightness and the focus of them in the Ethos was better than this. I'm going now to change it to the Nagler 31. Wow, none of the problems that I mentioned with the Ethos and the Ethos 21 and the Maxvision 2482 doesn't exist in this. Peripheral vision is as clear as the center, the same tightness and neatness and numbers of the star as the Ethos 21. So this is thumbs up for this Televue Nagler 31. Is a good eyepiece. I must say I've never seen the double cluster so nice like this one, like in this eyepiece. Let me go and change it to the APM 20mm and then Maxvision 40mm 68. Okay, now HTC 20mm, again double cluster. The tightness and neatness and the roundness and the uniformity of the field of view and the total view of the cluster in this eyepiece is very similar to Nagler. The only thing is that Nagler had a bigger area of the view, and this one had higher magnification. Besides that, yeah, they're very similar, and I think this one in this target double cluster is better than the Ethos 21. Let me just bring that again just for a moment. Okay, I'm now in the Ethos 21mm just to prove that, and I'm looking at the double cluster. The field of view is slightly wider than the 20mm APM, and the stars are tight, but the peripheral view has again that kind of extension of the shape of the stars. Which one I prefer? I think this is equal to APM, or APM has an edge on this target to the Ethos 21, to my eye, with this telescope. Okay, now I'm looking with the Maxvision 24mm 68 degrees equal to the mid of the same and explore scientific of the same specification. I can say that the view is only second to the, on this target, which is double cluster, second to the Nagler 31, which is 31mm type 5. This is a big target, of course, it's a very extended target, and visibility of it is best to in the lowest magnifications. So if I want on this target categorize, Televue Nagler 31mm type 5 comes first, second comes Maxvision 40mm 68 degrees, third comes the APM APM 20. I was thinking that should I say the Maxvision 24mm. Anyway, Maxvision 20mm also a little bit better or similar to the Ethos 21, which comes the last in this target. I'm surprised by that. Mama said that Nagler 31 is a good eyepiece. It's probably the best eyepiece in this range to tap in this field of view and magnification and on these targets, extended targets, big targets. Back to Nagler 31 on the double cluster. I must say that, yeah, for color rendition and loyalty to the color, this eyepiece is really good because it shows me several red stars actually. I couldn't recognize any color in the other ones other than white or blue, probably white mostly. And in this one I can see some redness in some of the stars in this cluster, so that's really good. This is one of the best eyepieces. Let me go on the plates. Again, Nagler 31mm, and I can see that the plate is very good. Not as good as the times I used the normal achromat refractor, and but it's good. It's good. I can see learnability around the stars also in this cluster. Okay, Ethos 21 on the plates. You can see the image quality on this one very similar to Nagler 31. Probably the stars are a bit tighter and better and closer to the being round, but the field of view for the cluster, which is really huge, is smaller, so you don't see the whole cluster, whereby with the 31 Nagler you could easily see. So in this one, this Ethos is better. Okay, the seeing has been a little bit deteriorated. There is a thin layer of haze in the sky, so all the details I could see back in the M31 are now invisible. M31 is yet there, but it's like a normal night. So nothing interesting for me, so I'm packing up and going. Okay, I'm now back indoors. My assessment of the Televue Ethos 21 is that it's not the eyepiece that worth at the moment is 769 with the postage and everything. 781. It costs almost £800. You can buy a big double door fridge with that money. Does it worth? No. APM will do similar to this, and Explore Scientific 82 degrees 24 will actually equal this. A better eyepiece than this and that Explore Scientific or Maxvision or Meet equal to this Maxvision 2482 is the Nagler, Televue Nagler 31mm. This is not a bad eyepiece, it's a good eyepiece, but it doesn't worth that price. The price of it should be at the most 1.5 times of the APM, not more. And it's quite heavy compared to that one. Definitely doesn't worth that much. Am I going to sell it? No. Spent the night in very good conditions. The sky condition was really good. With these 5 eyepieces, under Skywatcher, Skyliner, Flextube 300p reflecting Dobsonian telescope. And I found that on those 3 targets that I observed, Pleiades, Andromeda Galaxy, and the double cluster in Perseus, Televue Nagler Tape 5 was the best. Closely matching that was the Maxvision 68 degree 40mm eyepiece, which is equal to Meet and Explore Scientific of the same specification. And then probably I should put this after that Nagler, so I put them close to here. This was really good also, surprisingly. 24mm Maxvision 82 degrees eyepiece, equal to Meet and Explore Scientific of the same specification, and probably look in the same look with the Meet. Then comes to the 100 degree eyepieces. I don't have any difficulty in seeing the field of view with the 100 degree eyepieces. I'm using them all the time. I have the lower magnification, I have the Skywatcher Myriad version, I have the APM, and I have the Ethos. Now Ethos 21 here was used. So my judgment was that Ethos 21mm is not the best eyepiece that it is advertised to be. In my experience and in my the targets that I saw and the exceptional night I spent with them, it was very closely matched by APM HDC 20mm eyepiece. And if it was me and I was going to spend again the same money, I would go for the APM. That gives me the better view, more comfortable, and it was cheaper also. If I could find a Myriad, Skywatcher Myriad 20mm one, I would definitely grab that instead of this one, but it's not available. You can buy it from AliExpress in China. That one, because you can actually rest your eye on it, is like this Maxvision ones. You can actually rest your eye on it and gives a reference point for you. Ethos is not a bad eyepiece. Don't take me wrong. It's not a bad eyepiece, but it's not much different to what you can get with the APM or Myriad. And the performance on this ones and the comfort of viewing and everything was better in this series of eyepieces. So that comes to me the last. Probably Ethos, because of the cost factor, comes the last also. So if you want to, based on your judgment for purchasing this, I must say that the best one is the Nagler. Then there is Maxvision one and Export Scientific and Mead one. 68 degree and 82 degrees are really good. These are, I don't have difficulty with the 100 degrees, but these are good, but not the best. I could have a better view with the Nagler and this other two. Just after using these eyepieces, the weather was so clear near the morning, early down, that I just couldn't resist. I went and took these giant binoculars, which is 20 by 80. I bought it second-hand for around £60 some years ago. And I used it and I could see everything. You know, I saw M33, M31, M32, M110 satellites of the Andromeda galaxy. I saw the M35, M45 plates, M42. M35 is in the, of course, the Gemini. I saw the M1, which is very elusive if you want to find it by the, just star hopping. It sometimes can be elusive, easily observable with this. Then I realized why I'm bothering myself with all these eyepieces and telescopes. It's like blinding myself. This was an eye opener. That's why practically I could use it easily. Then it dawned on me that this is because of all this hype they create in the forums, astronomy forums. And it dawned on me, I used these astronomy forums for a few months. Then it gradually dawned on me, these people are there for a reason. And that reason is to actually, sell these eyepieces. First Light Optics, for example, sponsors or actually owns the Stargazer's launch. Another company in America owns that, what is it called? Cloudy Nights. So their duty there, the moderators and the people who may have several accounts even themselves, or the guys who work with them, their job is like these shops. You go to Turkey or somewhere like that, they drag you into the shop from the street. They have to call you, drag you, attract you to the inside of the shop so they can sell you something. Their job is like that. They make all this hype about Takahashi, Televue, all this expensive stuff. And they don't let you actually get the advice or the thing that you have to do, and that is observation and enjoying your hobby. It makes a money pit for you that you're just all the time spending because they have the better one than you, and all the time they're showing it to everyone, and they're photographing it. They show what the postman has brought. Look at my case, full of eyepieces, expensive eyepieces. This is the way they trick the people to come actually spend money, when actually you could do better than that with a binocular. I also have a 750. When I was younger, I used to have 1240, and I could see all the Messier object with that, the 1240, which was a Russian Zenit binocular. This one is Swedish, I think, or English or whatever. Helkinson, so it must be Swedish. And I could do all of that. You know what I need with this? Just a a sunbed so that I can lay down in it and hold this in my hand. If I want to, have a more restful experience, I just use a lighter one, a smaller one, 750. And that's it. That's all that you need. All of these practically expensive stuff, they don't give you any more joy than using your own. Great amateur astronomers like James Alcott, the guy who discovered a lot of comets, all the time they were using binoculars, and they were using it inside the can you believe it, inside the conservatory, from within the, looking through the sky from the within a double glaze, through a double glazed window glass. They were looking at it. They didn't need any of this expensive stuff. These things came since the first light optics and other things decided to, push up their sales. They have accomplices in this, the moderators, if you look at them. One of them actually get kicked out because he was not doing it. John Huntley, if you look in the Stargazer's launch, John was one of the greatest moderators. And he started using actually the names of the brands. And then he was kicked out for whatever reason it was. Then he stopped using name brands, but he was active in the forum after that, even just on his own. Probably he couldn't tell to his family that he has been kicked out. He's an old man, he's retired. And with the disgrace, they kicked him out. And he had to, pretend that he's there. But he stopped using the names. And he was also telling to them, look, you make all these things about Takahashi, and it's just a refractor, 80 millimeter refractor, 100 millimeter, 120 aperture size refractor. They're not any better than a Dobsonian. They cannot be better. They cannot be really highly better than a achromat or a Fraunhofer telescope like this red star wave. And that was it. They insulted him in a very bad way over the mount by the Rowan Astronomy, I think AZ-75. He was suggesting that, that for the test, they should actually have included some slow motion controls. Those guys were one of them called Stu. He is a real bully, and the other one is Grant. They started to actually insulting him in a way. They chased him in his posts until really they mocked him as that, you're poor, you cannot afford these things. This kind of things, the behavior they do. And he has to give up, and I've not seen him for a while now. He's not active anymore, although he was a moderator in the past. This is very nasty, don't don't fall into the trap of spending money. A binocular serves you better. This is my advice to you. By the way, the John, his real name is John Huntley. In the Cloudy Nights American Forum, he comes with his real name, John Huntley. But in the Stargazer's launch, he was a moderator under the name John. And yeah, he has reviews of the many eyepieces, including, for example, Skywatcher Myriad, the Skywatcher SWA. Look for this, you will see that he has compared the Myriad 20mm with the 21mm Ethos, and practically thought they're not much different. I wish I would listen to his advice. And that's what everybody else also says. Practically APM is equal to APM 20mm is equal to the Skywatcher Myriad in the mechanical build or anything. This is the same as the Ethos practically. Just Ethos wants to be, snobbish to make it 21 to standing out. Like 30, everybody makes 30mm now, 82-degree eyepieces. Al Nagler decided to make it 31. So standing out. These are all marketing tricks. John, yeah, he's not there anymore, as far as I know. Yeah, get one of these, and you will not need all those eyepieces, because the eyepiece is just one part of the thing. And in here you have this eyepiece, and this gives you gave me actually the biggest field of view I could see. M33 was shining, dazzling with the telescope. Even with the Nagler, it's just nothing more than a little bit fuzz. But with this, you could actually see it. And M31, M32, and M110, all this that area was full of this, the deep sky objects. Unless you want to do some, planetary thing that you just can do it with any ichromat. Can do it even cheaper with the Dobsonian. Second, buy second hand.